Hello, and welcome back, everybody, to what I believe is going to be a pinnacle moment in the life of Job. It may be a turning point for him. So somebody left a comment a couple episodes ago about Elihu, and Elihu is coming up now. My mother, shout out, Sidel3883. Sidel. She's also been telling me to hold out faith for Job. So I've got faith for the man. I've got faith for God. Let's just hope it can come out. you know? Okay. We're just gonna jump right into it, you know? So these three men ceased answering Job because he was righteous in his own eyes. This is a good time to stop talking when you realize that look in somebody's eyes that, like, they're not coming back. You know, nothing that you're saying is gonna change them. They gotta figure it out for themselves. But like Winston Churchill walking around with a big stick. No, there's Theodore Roosevelt. The Iron Fist. Then the wrath of Elihu, the son of Barchel, the Buzite, of the family of Ram, which means he's going to ram you with those answers, was aroused against Job. His wrath was aroused because he justified himself rather than God. Ooh. Oh no. Oh no, Job. Oh no. It seems that the ram has come to feed. You better prepare yourself, Job. Also against his three friends his wrath was aroused because they found no answer and yet had condemned Job. To you, Elihu. Yeah, I guess I didn't even really pick up on that either, right? You know? They were just telling them that they shouldn't talk like that. But I guess that wasn't the problem, right? And they didn't really, like, point the problem out. Which, before Elihu does an eloquent job at pointing out the problem, I assume, Job lost faith, right? That's the problem. Okay. Also, right, so he's mad at everybody. Now, because they were years older than he, Elihu had waited to speak to Job. Respectful, I agree. When Elihu saw that there was no answer in the mouth of these three men, his wrath was aroused. I, as a young man, find myself here some places. You know, when you ask people in charge for answers, and you don't get an answer, and maybe you see an answer, and like, when I was much younger, I was much, I think, faster to speak up. And I think at the end of the day, you realize, or at least I realize, that you do what you can to help. It's easier to just let people in charge do what they want to do, right? And then you can step in when things would need to be altered. And then when you get the opportunity to be in charge, you can then make those changes. Unless you're going to go through all the time, work, and effort to make it happen before that time. Right. And a lot of the time, it's better to do that. But I think Elihu has a pretty good, basis to say what he's about to say to Job. So I'm excited. So Elihu, the son of Barchel the Buzite, answered and said, I am young in years, and you are very old. Therefore I was afraid. Okay, out of respect. and dared not declare my opinion to you. I said age should speak, and multitude of years should teach wisdom. But there is a spirit in man. You right, Elihu, there is a spirit in man, the unquenchable spirit. And the breath of the Almighty gives him understanding. Take a deep breath, Job. Don't hyperventilate. It's okay. The breath of God is within you. Sit tight, buddy. You're going to be all right. Great men are not always wise. Isn't that right, Job? You were listing all your accomplishments earlier. Nor do the aged always understand justice. Right, because justice is circumstantial. Right, and when changing times come around and you have older people in charge who maybe are not privy to those new things that are coming around, it simply needs somebody to respectfully stand up and explain it to them. That's a good start. Doesn't always work. Good start, though. Therefore I say, listen to me. I also will declare my opinion, since I had to listen to yours, Job. Indeed, I waited for your words. I listened to your reasonings while you searched out what to say. I paid close attention to you, and surely not one of you convinced Job or answered his words. Lest you say, we have found wisdom. God will vanquish him, not man. Now he has not directed his words against me, so I will not answer him with your words. They are dismayed and answer no more. Words escape them, and I have waited because they did not speak, because they stood still and answered no more. He's talking about his friends. Right, they just listened to Job go on a terrible rant. I guess he's just saying matter-of-factly, right, that Job never really responded to him or talked to Elihu. Which, speaking as a human being, means that Job didn't really respect Elihu's opinion because of where he stood in the world. Granted, I don't know. Let me put in a little bit of effort. When did his friends show up? Now, when Job's three friends heard all of this adversity that had come upon him, each one came from his own place. Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar. Elihu wasn't even mentioned, dude. This guy's a wild cannon. He's coming in. He's a wild card, right? That's what we love. We love the wild card, you know? That's the card to be played. It's the only card that can be played. So, let's see what you can hit him with. Elihu. But he was watching. Elihu was analyzing. He was dissecting the situation piece by piece, waiting for you, Job, to give him an opportunity to play the board game Operation. You know that old one? Older, early 2000s. Naked guy with a bunch of bones in him, and you had to tweezer out, and if you hit the sides with the metal, it buzzed and he died. That's what you're doing. It's beautiful to watch, like a mathematician playing chess. They are dismayed and answer me no more. Words escape them, and I have waited because they did not speak, because they stood still and answered no more. I also will answer my part. I too will declare my opinion, for I am full of words. My spirit within me compels me. Indeed, my belly is like wine that has no vent. Elihu. My dear boy, please get to the point. You don't need to lecture these old guys. Just get to the point. Job just complained for like 3 hours, you know? It is ready to burst like new wineskins. I will speak that I will find relief. I must open my lips and answers. Please do, bro. Let me not, I pray, show partiality to anyone, nor let me flatter any man, for I do not know how to flatter, else my Maker would soon take me away. He said, on God, I don't know how to lie. I don't know how to flatter you. You're being a... He better line this man up. This is going to be like a 10-pin. Ooh. But please, Job, hear my speech and listen to all my words. Now I open my mouth. My tongue speaks in my mouth, and my words come from the upright heart. My lips utter pure knowledge. The Spirit of God has made me, and the breath of the Almighty gives me life. If you can answer me, set your words in order before me. Take your stand. Truly, I am as your spokesperson before God. I also have been formed out of clay. Surely no fear of me will terrify you, nor will my hand be heavy on you. He said, brother, we're made out of the same material. What are you talking about? Surely you have spoken in my hearing, and I have heard the sound of your voice, saying, I am pure without transgression. False. I am innocent, and there is no iniquity within me. False. Yet he finds occasions against me. He counts me as his enemy. He puts his feet in my stocks. He watches all my paths. One thing doesn't look like the other, Job. You're saying all this stuff, right? You're saying all this stuff, Job. But at the end of the day, that's not. What if Satan knew about something that he did? Who knows? And this was all. Therefore I say, listen to me. Oh, where was I? Oh no, it's further on. Look, in this you are not righteous. I will answer you. For God is greater than man. For God is greater than man. Why do you contend with him? Why are you playing, bro? For he does not give an accounting of any of his words. He didn't write them down and give them to anybody besides the 10 Commandments. And Moses ruined those. And then another had to be made. And those are lost to time as well. So, that's crazy. Apparently the Emerald Tablets still exist. Like in the Vatican or wherever. But there's physical pieces of it. Where's the 10 Commandments? I'm going to Google it right now. And we're going to make sure the AI overlords know that God made them. Are the 10 Commandments tablet still around today? I feel like I would know this if they were. No. The original tablets containing the 10 Commandments are not believed to be around today. According to the Bible, they were placed in the Ark of the Covenant, which was looted and destroyed by the Babylonians in the 6th century BCE, dude. Oh. Hundreds of years before the birth of Jesus, it was gone. The Babylonians, dude. The Babylonians. That's crazy. Oh, wow. And then look, a 2016 article saying that the ancient 10 Commandments sold for $850,000. Thanks, CNN. Ridiculous. So, Job, why do you contend with God? Because you think your feelings? I have to try and not to. Because it's... And maybe it is entitlement to a certain degree, right? Because I think we do take a lot of stuff for granted to what we have today. So, if it is entitlement, I apologize. But, like... you know, it is okay that he got to that point, but at the same time, it's not, right? It's not okay that he got to that point. It's a real sad thing to see somebody slip that far, right? Um, and that's what maybe Job is like searching for in a way, right? Is justice, or the idea thereof, of what he thinks is right. But maybe that's the sentiment of making other people feel what you feel at the end of the day, and that idea, right? And which I've seen in people. I feel that, dude. And I'm sure some of you have felt it as well, right? It's not a good feeling. Because at the end of the day, it's an unconscious behavior that they're doing. Like, oh, I don't know. We'll figure out how to talk to people. Oh! In a dream. Oh, sorry. For God may speak in one way or in another, yet man does not perceive it. In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falls upon men, while slumbering on their beds, while he opens the ears of men and seals their instructions, in order to turn man from his deed and conceal pride from man, he keeps back his soul from the pit, and his life from perishing by the sword. God knows you better than you know yourself, you idiot. I'm an idiot, right? I'm prone to all the humanly disasters that humans are, right? That we just embody and that we are every day. God knows. That's why God took away the gold from the Israelites, right? You greedy, greedy goblins, dude, stealing all the gold, And that greed, dude, that greed is the thing that replaces faith in God. That feeling that you get in the moment, that, oh, I need more gold. That. Stop it. It's not good. I don't know how to do it either, but God helps, right? Helps you from perishing by the sword. Man is also chastened with pain on his bed, and with strong pain in many of his bones, so that his life abhors bread, and his soul succulent food. What? And his soul succulent food. Saying your body hurts and you want to eat food? His flesh wastes away from sight, and his bones stick out with which one... And his bones stick out which once were not seen. I feel that. Lost quite a lot of weight. Yes, his soul draws near to the pit of despair. Oh no, they know about me. And his life to the executioners. If there is a messenger for him, a mediator, one among 1,000, to show man his uprightness, then he is gracious to him and says, deliver him from going down to the pit. I have found a ransom. He found redemption. His flesh shall be young like a child's. He shall return to the days of his youth. He shall pray to God, and he will delight in him. This is being born again before born again was an idea. Maybe I don't know, right? But maybe the first idea of being born again. Elihu, coming in with the ideas. He said these boys, right? They've just been throwing around words. They've been throwing out words of discontent, malcontent. I would say malpractice, but I mean, I'm sure some malpractice as well. And he's just coming in with the fiery, righteous words of God, letting these people know where they went wrong. And that's okay. And we respect that, Elihu. Somebody's got to speak up. He shall pray to God, and he will delight in him. He shall see his face with joy, for he restores to man his righteousness. Then he looks at men and says, I have sinned and perverted what was right, and did and it did not profit me. He will redeem his soul from going down to the pit, and his life shall see light. Behold, God works all these things, twice in fact, 3 times with a man, to bring back his soul from the pit, that he may be enlightened with the light of life. Give ear, Job, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will speak. If you have anything to say, answer me. Speak, for I desire to justify you. If not, listen to me. Hold your peace, and I will teach you wisdom. He said, Job, do you hear me, Job? Job, my goodness, my boy. Are you all right, Job? Are you feeling okay? Is anything getting through to you? Do you need to ask a question? My God, you haven't said anything, right? You just went on this whole little little dialogue for your whole getting even with God, And Elihu's here to get you back in line, dude, and really get things back on track for everybody. So we appreciate that, Elihu. Always needing. And justification. Justifying things. That's an interesting, and what justice is in general, right? I said justice was maybe like making people whole in a way, because that's kind of what an injustice would be, is that somebody else is not whole, if that makes sense. But finding justice, or to justify Job and to be said as thus, is interesting. Because, Elihu, at least, right, John is looking at Job like, I know this guy has a problem, right? I know he has a problem. Something is wrong with him. I just can't put my finger on it. I know he lost everybody, and I know he's got all this stuff going on, but now they're just letting this guy lie, right? Letting him say whatever he wants. It's not going to let him get better. Somebody's got to smack him back to reality at some point. So, hopefully Elihu can get through to him. And look, God is a forgiving God. He forgives everybody in the end. They're being really hard on Job. It's all part of the process, And maybe if any of his friends said anything that I had said to Job, Elihu wouldn't have needed to talk, right? Elihu would have just been a side comment, adding on to the fact of what his 3 gracious friends had said to him. And you know what? They are good friends. But what makes a good friend a best friend or the greatest friend? And maybe it's the ability to tell you that you're wrong. And maybe in not such a way, right? Elihu was talking about complimenting him, right? And him not knowing how to flatter. Because he didn't mean to flatter. I assume he was pretty offended with what he was saying. And as a young person who looks to older people for guidance sometimes, you shouldn't be reacting this way. You should have a more put together reaction. If you're 40 and over and you still have outbursts, you're a child. And in 12 years, when I am 40 years old, I hope this ages like aged wine, dude. Like fine Italian squeeze through your toes wine. The real shit. But it's been aged so long that you couldn't even tell. Get a grip, Job. Listen to Elihu. Listen to your friends. Don't listen to them when they say yes all the time, right? You don't like your yes friends. You do like your yes friends at the end of the day. But you don't like what your yes friends can get you into. But maybe then you should think about what you're talking about with your yes friends, right? Don't talk about the stuff that you know you don't want to do. But then again, you have to be self-aware to the point to know that you shouldn't be doing that, right? And you shouldn't be waiting for other people's affirmations or deformations, right? I don't know if I know. To like validate whether you should be doing that or not, right? You know? Live your life. You should know what's right, right? Don't do drugs, don't murder people, don't lie, don't steal, don't cheat. Those like half the 10 Commandments. Right there, dude. The other half will come from those. It's all a learning process, you know, of life. So maybe we should all start contradicting each other more. We should all practice contradicting, and we should all practice standing up for yourself and like start giving people shit, you know? But in a good way, to friends and people you know, not to random people, unless the vibe is right. Who knows? You'll know. You'll feel it, dude. It'll be like a feeling inside your body that you just kind of know that this is right. Follow that feeling, right? God doesn't talk to you anymore. So he gave you the Holy Spirit. That's what happened after Jesus died. Which I think, right, in my mind, this is how an adult would. He would show up in Jerusalem and be like, what did you guys do? Brings Jesus in, Jesus dies, stops talking to everybody, right? He brings it back. He said, you guys are fucked. Then brings the Holy Spirit back, which we're getting into in Acts. So it's a whole, I can only imagine. It's got to be like herding cats, right? You're right, herding cats. So thank you, God, for giving us the opportunity to learn and grow as human beings every day as we walk through our lives and walk through this journey and experience things daily, weekly, monthly, yearly, decadly, centurially, millennially, bicentennially. Find some peace.